Welcome, summer school students. This is Mr. Mungia, your teacher. Um, I'd like to get into grades and credits and grades and expectations. Before I do anything, I want to just go over how to pronounce my name. The way to pronounce my name is Moon, like the moon in the sky, and then Gia. That's the way to say it, and here's how you spell it, Mungia. So you spell it like this, but say it like this, Mungia. So just a little FYI, it's a very unique sounding name. It's Spanish. It originates off the island of Basque in Spain. This is my 15th year teaching, and I love teaching. It's a it's an honor to be teaching. Um, and you probably just heard why a little while ago, prior to me assigning you this video to watch. So your grade consists of three categories. Um, it consists of assignments, tests, and participation. And here's a breakdown of the percentages. So 40% of your grade is assignments. Okay. Um, Tests are 30%, and then participation and productivity, that's one category in itself, is 30%. So if you add all those up, that's 100% of your grade. Assignments, there'll be assignments due every day for full credit. So veteran students, you guys know that I'll have assignment due dates typically on Friday, but during summer school, assignments will be due on specific days. Um, and if you turn in late assignments, there'll be partial credit. So typically my assignments are worth 5 points. So if you turn in an assignment on time, it'll be 5 out of 5, so long as you give me an honest effort and it's not chicken scratch and just not giving me your full effort. There's different ways I can detect whether you're giving your full effort on an assignment or not. You'll get the full credit, but if you turn it in after the due date, it'll be partial credit. Okay. Let's see here. Tests are worth 30%. Now, some of you who are very fearful and have math phobia and don't perform well on tests, you can take tests over, and I'm going to get into that right now. Well, here's how you take a test over. So typically each week we'll have 2 tests, one around Wednesday and one around Friday. For sure one on Friday, but on Wednesday, in the middle of the week, we'll have 1 test. So typically 2 tests a week, which will be a total of 5 tests, 2 this week, 2 next week, and then 1 on the last day of this semester, which would be the June 18th. Again, we're only here 11 days. That's going to go by quick. We'll cover a lot each day, but with my help and just persevering and just having the courage to put in the effort and the time in this class, you'll be fine. But let's just say you fail a test. In order to make up a test, all you got to do is, for test retakes, you can only take a test retake if you're failing the class. If you have an F, I allow you to retake the test. But not only do you have to be failing to retake a test, you have to have finished all the assignments related to that test. So every assignment prepares you for a test. You're only allowed to retake a test if you failed it, only if you have an F in the class. Okay, you have to have an F in the class, and you have to have been done with all the assignments up to that specific test you want to retake. So it's not like normal school year where you just get to take tests and quizzes willy-nilly. There's requirements. You have to be failing, and you have to have finished all the assignments related to that specific test. So please keep that in mind. So if you have a D in the class, you can't retake a test. You have to just live with that D and try to get it up by doing assignments and scoring better on other tests. Okay, so just keep that in mind. So remember, you can get, if you have a D in the class, you can get that grade up by doing your best on the participation, by studying harder next time on my tests. They're always going to be open note, my tests, and by getting all your assignments in. These are different ways to get your grade up. So it's not the end of the world if you have a D. You can still get your grade up. And the last thing in summer school is your participation productivity. Just a little while ago, you have received, prior to pressing play on this video, you received a paper that looks like this, Summer School Productivity. Each day, you'll get a stamp. There's 11 days here. The days are listed for this class. It's just 11 days for 5 credits. The days are here. You show up on time and you begin your warm-up. There'll always be a warm-up ready to greet you. You get your first stamp. You're productive till the break, which is the first 3 hours. You'll get your second stamp. You come back from the break on time, not late. You get your third stamp. And by the way, when you come back from the break, I'll have something like a warm-up, another warm-up ready for you to do. If you're on time and doing that warm-up, whatever that activity or warm-up is, you get your third stamp. And then the last 3 hours of the day before you go home at 2 o'clock, if you're productive and participating, you get the fourth stamp. 4 stamps per day is the full credit for that specific day. That'll be your participation for that day. There's only 11 days, okay? Notice on that sheet I gave you, there's only 11 days here, and it ends on the 18th. So that's kind of like you want to see that as 11 assignments. Your productivity and participation each day is like an assignment, namely a participation assignment, which is 30% of your grade. So you want to take that seriously, okay? How you behave in my class, you following the directions, you not getting in the way of other people's learning by your belligerence, by your noise, by you cutting me off when I have the floor, things like this. That all your behavior and participation is going to be a grade, namely 30%. So there's 3 categories. Assignments are 40% of your grade, tests, and participation productivity. Okay. I trust that's clear. If not, you can ask me questions in a little while. Let me go on to my next slide here. I want to get into how to lose participation points. Again, what are ways to lose these stamps here that I went over? How is it you're going to end my day each day in summer school? The 11 days we're together here. How is it that you lose one of these stamps and I come around and not give you a stamp? What are the ways that you can do that? Well, here's one way. Well, here's actually I want to say 6 different ways. Yeah, 6 different ways to lose them. And by the way, this is some of you guys are crybabies. Anytime something doesn't go your way, not everyone, but some of you are crybabies. You need to own the consequences for your actions. And so if I come around and not stamp you and skip over you, this is not going to get you your stamp. You just got to own up to your behavior and the consequences of your behavior. So how do you lose a stamp? Well, if you're tardy less than a half hour, here's a less than sign right here, you lose 1 stamp. In other words, you're not going to get that first stamp of the day or the stamp after break. So if you're tardy in the beginning of the morning, you'll lose your first stamp, the warm-up stamp. Or if you're tardy after the break, we'll have a 15-minute break. I think it's 15 minutes. But after that break in between the first and second portion of our class, you'll lose that stamp also. What if you're tardy more than a half hour? Well, you lose 2 stamps. Okay? In other words, if you're tardy more than, let's say it's the January 8th right here. If you're tardy more than a half hour in the morning, you're going to lose both stamps here. Okay? You're going to lose both stamps. You're not going to have both stamps, but you can still earn your stamp for after the second portion of class, which is after the break. Remember, we're in here 6 hours in this class. It's going to go by fast. Maybe certain days will go by slow, but the 11 days will go by faster than you think. So you got to stay with me. So that's how you lose 1 stamp or 2 stamps, being more than a half hour late. Smartphone abuse. I have a lot to say. I'll show you a video on this tomorrow. Smartphone abuse is 1 stamp. In other words, misusing your phone. They're not showing adult behaviors of their phone. So adults, when they talk to each other, they don't stare at their phone. They look at each other eye to eye. Um, when adults are in a room and someone has a floor who is speaking, adults are not staring at their phone or looking at or texting or Snapchatting or Instagramming or Facebooking or tweeting, these kinds of things. When someone has a floor, you give your undivided attention in my class. So these are adult behaviors that you have to start displaying, which are part of your participation grade. So if you're paying attention to your phone while I have the floor, then you're not participating. You can say that you're still listening, but that's not participation the way I define it. You have to show me participation in the appropriate way. Okay? So smartphone abuse is definitely a way to lose stamps. Now, not only looking at your phone while I have the floor, but having earphones on. For instance, this guy. So he has both of his earphones on. If I have the floor and I'm trying to address a class and he has these earphones on, he loses his stamp. Okay? This would be okay, however, having both earphones on during assignment time when I designate certain times of the class to work on assignments. This would be okay. How about one earphone? This guy would lose his stamp also if I had the floor and he has one earphone on. You have to have both earphones off and phones away when I have the floor. This is a basic respect for the authority figure in the class. And learning how to do this is actually more important than the math that I teach. Learning how to give respect to those in authority over you is more important than any subject that this institution at Park West has to teach and give you. This would be okay. If I have the floor and you want to just stick your earphones in your nose, knock yourself out. But you have to be showing me undivided attention. So that's one way. It's another way to lose a stamp is smartphone abuse. Now you can text, you can do a quick Facebook post or whatever, check that during assignment time, so long as it's not getting in the way of your work. Every now and then you want to do a quick text, that's fine, something very quick. But not when I have a floor. So smartphone abuse is a biggie. You got to really pay attention to smartphone abuse. If I have to keep telling you, hey, enough with the phone, let's get busy, too much phone, I have to give you more than one warning, you're going to end up losing that stamp. Okay? Also, how to lose a stamp would be non-productivity, obviously. If you're not productive, you're not going to get your stamp. Another one will be talking when I'm talking. This is the biggest one. This is my biggest pet peeve. This is the one that gets on my nerves the most. I don't talk the whole period. There's going to be times when I teach and I'll have the floor. I need everyone's undivided attention because as a summer school, I can't be repeating myself. I got to cover a lot of material each day. So this is a big one. This is a hill I'll die on. You got to let me have the floor and let me teach. That doesn't mean I want utter absolute silence the whole class. Everyone knows who's had me before. I don't mind you chatting in class and even working together and sharing answers, sharing approaches to solutions, methods to solutions, helping each other out and talking. I don't mind that. It's just when I have a floor, I need it silent. I need to be teaching. That's a very sacred time when the teacher opens his mouth and starts speaking and starts teaching. It's a very sacred time in class, and you need to let me have the floor. So talking while I'm talking is a big, big pet peeve of mine. Or cutting me off when I have a floor. I don't mind you having the floor. If you want to say something, fine. I love having class discussions about all kinds of topics. But adults let other adults talk and then take turns talking. So if I talk, you let me finish, and if you want to chime in or give your input, I don't mind. Just wait till I'm done. Don't cut me off. These are adult behaviors of respect and tact and courtesy that are way, way more important than the math that you're learning in this class. So this is something I got to make sure you learn. This is way more important than mathematics, what I'm talking about right here. And I trust, I hope you don't forget this, what I'm saying. It's way more important, the respect that you give your authority, your elders, those who are and authority over you, giving them respect. Society does not function appropriately when the youth and those younger don't give respect and honor to those who are older. And I can get on, that's another topic for later, but that's huge. Also, I have all kinds of pencils and pens. If you don't bring a writing utensil and I have to give you a pencil or a pen, something to write with, then you'll lose a stamp. Okay. Also, I'll give out note. If you don't have your notes or handouts I give you, I have to give you another one. You'll also lose a stamp. This is, I need to train you to come to occasions prepared. This is a life skill. It's a life skill that's more important than the math also. Coming to an occasion or an event prepared. You show up to work, you have to have your uniform on. You show up to any occasion unprepared, you lose. So I need to start training you now as young adults to come to class prepared. I'll have paper for you if you need paper, fine. But if you're short on money, then I can give you one pencil. You take care of it, but you'll lose your stamp for that day. For today, it doesn't count because you didn't know this. But make sure you bring a pencil, please, and have a folder for your notes. If I have to keep giving you note paper, or actually notes, handouts and such, then you lose your stamp. So come to class prepared. What else here? Let's see. We went over knuckleheads here with their earphones on. This guy. This would be a case of two students talking when I have the floor. So if you're talking to each other, even if you're whispering, this is totally unacceptable, and this is not giving me the respect that's owed me as your teacher. Again, when I'm teaching, it's a sacred time. You have to give me your undivided attention. So this would be a case where students lose their productivity and their grade lowers in my class. Remember, grade productivity is 30% of your class grade, participation productivity. If you don't get those full 4 stamps each day, your productivity is going to go down. Your grade part. Remember, this is 30%. You need to get 4 stamps per day. Now, right now, again, I'm going over how to lose those stamps. So you want to make sure you're productive and not talking when I'm talking. There's that famous saying, you may have heard it, when people say, choose your battles. In other words, there's so many battles in life, so many struggles in life. You have to save your energy and fight the fights that are worth fighting, because there's so many things to fix and so many battles to fight. Some battles you have to ignore because there's just other battles that are way more important. Well, this is a battle that this is a hill I'll die on. You giving me the attention that I deserve as your teacher. This is more important than the math. So I'm going to be a stickler to this, and it might get on some of your nerves. If it does get on your nerves, I don't really care, because this is more important than even you, giving respect to those in authority, and just being quiet when I have the floor. So I'm going to go the distance on this battle. If you want to battle me, then you're probably going to have to take me some other time, maybe in the fall. If you keep getting in my way of the teaching, then maybe you can find a different math teacher that allows you to talk when they're talking. But it's not me. I'm not that math teacher. So if you find it hard to be quiet while people have the floor, you might want to take some other math class some other time, or find a different math teacher, because I'm not going to allow that. And you need to know that. Let's see what else. So these next 11 days are going to be tough. And veteran students, you guys know that Frederick Douglass is one of my heroes. He's a runaway slave who grew up during the slavery era in the mid 1800s, prior to the Civil War. And I love this quote here: where there is no struggle, there is no progress. Anything worth attaining or obtaining in life involves an immense amount of work, toil, sweat. There's no shortcut. What you put in life is what you get out of it. And a lot of you are not good at mathematics, but that doesn't mean you can't pass my class or learn some valuable mathematics. It's going to take struggle. It's going to take work and labor. And you need to know that that goes for everything in life that's worth obtaining or worth pursuing. There's always going to be struggle. And this is one of my quotes I have in my classroom, not this summer school classroom, but in my classroom posted very prominently on my wall. Where there is no struggle, there is no progress. I want you to remember that, because you will struggle in this class. And struggling is actually part of the learning. It's an essential part of learning mathematics, is struggling through it. Very unique. So please remember Frederick Douglass's quote. Also, these are some few keys to success here. Don't confuse struggling with failure in math. Okay? A lot of students, because they are struggling, they think they're failing. That's not the same thing. Struggle and failure are two different things. You have to persevere through the struggle. You have to keep fighting through the struggle. There's content that you're not understanding. So do not confuse struggle with failure. Struggle is an essential part of the learning process, especially in mathematics. In other words, you learn more from your mistakes often than getting things right. You learn more from mistakes. Okay? And let's see here. Another key to success is to be organized. I have a folder or a binder to keep notes, handouts that I give you, because you get to use those during tests. All my tests are open notes, so you want to stay organized. You have all your notes in a designated area for quick reference. You know where to find them. This is how you get higher grades on those tests, so you don't have to be taking tests over. Stay organized. Get some sleep. We start early at 7:45. It's just 11 days. These 11 days are going to go by quick. You want to be disciplined and make sure you get some sleep. Okay? And also bring coffee if you need to. Bring water. You can bring food in here, but make sure it's dry food. In other words, I don't want no soups, pozole, menudo, those kinds of things that are going to make a big mess. But go ahead and bring some dry food in here. As long as you don't make a mess, help me keep this clean. I'd appreciate it, but go ahead and bring some. This is summer school, so you're allowed to bring some food in here, okay? I hope this helps. You're now going to answer a few questions on the Google form. It's going to be a good one. So stick with me. Put the work in. It takes both you and I, both of our efforts for success to be realized. So please know that, and put in the work, and I'll take care of you. I'll make sure you pass if you give me your effort. You got to show me the effort, and all will be fine.